Good morning, everyone. Let me lift this up here. No, I'm going to take it off there, if that's okay. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about the Milan Project and what we do in California and the United States. I'll give you a brief history. We were founded in 1989 by Gusto and Michaela Adone to advance research to find a cure for their son, Lorenzo, who suffered from ALD. There's a picture of them on the right. They developed an oil treatment, which I'm sure many of you have heard of, now used throughout the world, that can delay the onset of childhood cerebral ALD. Their story was dramatized in the 1992 film, Lorenzo's Oil, directed by George Miller, who now has been was nominated for an Academy Award for his work on Mad Max. Quite a different type of film. So a little bit about me. My name is Greg Benton, and I am the program director for the Milan Project. My brothers and I were tested for ALD after my uncle was diagnosed with AMN back in, actually that should say 1988 at UCLA. There's a picture of us there. You can see my brother's skin pigmentation there, clearly a symptom of ALD. My brother Mike unfortunately inherited the gene. My brother Chris and I luckily did not. In 2000, my uncle passed away unfortunately from AMN. And my brother now is walking with a cane and often uses a wheelchair. There he is. And that's us at a fundraiser back in 2011 in Los Angeles. I should be pointing this way. So a little bit about us and what we do. We are a certified 501c3 nonprofit organization based in California. Our mission is to improve the quality of life for those living with ALD and AMN through research, advocacy, and family support. So historically, we've been supporting research at institutions spanning the globe from Yale University to Cambridge. For I should say 25 years, we've held scientific conferences to support collaboration amongst top Myelin disease researchers throughout the world. Last year, in coordination with Brian's Hope Foundation, we granted $50,000 to Dr. Gerald Raymond's lab at the University of Minnesota. There's a picture of him there. Since, I would say in the last few years, we've broadened our focus. Historically, we've been primarily a research organization, and we have now committed ourselves to newborn screening advocacy for very obvious reasons, promoting awareness, education, and last year we recently started a family support program. So as I mentioned, in 2015, we formed the Adone Family Support Program to support low-income families living with ALD and AMN. We're committed to lessening the financial burden of care while providing comfort to patients and their families with food, out-of-pocket medical expenses, utility bill payments, also minor home renovations to help for handicap access. We recently added travel scholarships for patients and families in need of financial assistance, wanting to attend scientific conferences, family weekends like this, etc. To date, we've granted $30,000 to low-income families across the United States. This is a photo of Liam Morgan. He was a child who got a bone marrow transplant, I believe, in Pennsylvania. Is that right, Janice? Yeah, Pennsylvania. And this is another patient we helped. Clayton Smith also received a bone marrow transplant. We helped renovate his home to make it more livable for him. Education. So another part of our mission is to promote awareness and education. So we offer a teacher packet, which has a really fantastic study guide that kind of explains the mechanism of Lorenzo's oil and how it works to treat ALD. Our teacher packet was recently featured on the National Science Teachers Association website, which has created a lot of work for me, because in the last month alone, we've sent over 100 packets to different schools throughout the United States and Canada. Awareness. So another part of our mission is to promote awareness of ALD. We recently, well, within the last couple of years, we joined forces with the World Leukodystrophy Alliance, which is a group of like-minded leukodystrophy organizations aimed at leveraging resources to improve the lives of those affected with leukodystrophies. In April, we held our 2016 annual general meeting at Stanford University. And in the last year, we've nearly doubled our membership from 8 organizations to now we have 15 member organizations at the World Leukodystrophy Alliance. And there is our logo there. Our current members, some of these you might recognize. Aidan Jack Seeger Foundation, based in New York. ALD Life, I don't know if you guys have heard of them. The Australasian Leukodystrophy Foundation, Australia. Be a Hero, Become a Donor, based in California. Bethany's Hope Foundation in London, Canada. That's the other London. Brian's Hope Foundation in Connecticut. The European Leukodystrophy Association. Fight ALD, based in California. Hunter's Hope Foundation in New York. MLD Foundation in Oregon. The Milan Project in Florida, the Milan Project, the PMD Foundation in New Jersey, and the Stop ALD Foundation. Oh, I'm sorry, and the ULF, United Leukodystrophy Foundation as well. That's a photo from our 2015 meeting. So another part of our mission is advocacy. As you all know, newborn screening allows for the early detection and treatment, which can provide dramatically better health outcomes for affected individuals. For those of you who don't know, that's what a newborn screening looks like. The heel of the baby is pricked at birth, and that sample is sent off to a genetic screening lab, and it's tested for various diseases. So in 2014, we sponsored Assembly Bill 1559, requiring the addition of ALD to California's newborn screening program. The bill was authored by California State Senator and pediatrician Dr. Richard Pan. There's Dr. Pan right there. And this is an ALD patient, Jeremy Hill. And he was pretty much our poster child for the bill. He was a perfect representation of what happens when you wait too long, basically, to have a bone marrow transplant. He is doing very well. He had a transplant at the age of, I want to say, 13 or 14, but he's doing very, very well. So Assembly Bill 1559 was signed into law on September 25th, 2014, with much bipartisan support. That's our governor, Jerry Brown. But Governor Brown's office amended our bill to enact screening pending ALD's addition to the recommended uniform screening panel, which is a federal list of diseases. It's basically that federal list of diseases recommended for individual state newborn screening programs. So the RUSP is managed by the Secretary of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Sylvia Burwell is her name. There she is. As Florian had mentioned, in August of 2015, the Secretary Advisory Committee of Heritable Disorders in Newborns and Children, which basically advises Sylvia Burwell, they made their recommendation to add ALD to the RUSP, which was a very, very big victory for us. All we needed next was Burwell's approval of the recommendation, and screening could begin in California. 6 very, very long months later, hearing no word from Burwell's office, we decided to take matters into our own hands and organize a national day of phone banking. So what we did was we called upon ALD advocates nationwide to call Burwell's office, urging that she approve the recommendation. Her comments line received so many phone calls that day that it completely filled up her voicemail, and they were no longer taking new messages. Perhaps not so coincidentally, the very next day, on February 16th, we got word that Secretary Burwell had approved ALD's addition to the RUSP. So we were very happy about that. So now the California Department of Public Health stated that the labs will be ready for screening by the summer, retroactively screening samples collected on or after February 16th, 2016, the day that Secretary Burwell had approved that recommendation. On June 25th, the California Department of Public Health invited us to the ALD program implementation, that should say newborn screening program implementation, at the Department of Health in preparation for the program startup. Over 500,000 babies will be screened for ALD in California by early 2017. California will soon have the largest ALD newborn screening program in the world, which is pretty exciting. So newborn screening nationwide. Currently, and this is in the US, only 3 states in the US are currently screening newborns for ALD. That's New York, I'm sorry, 2 states, New York and Connecticut. However, several other states have legislation pending, and of course, California, we have already passed legislation for newborn screening. ALD mother Elisa Seeger has introduced legislation in the federal government to require and fund newborn screening of ALD in all 50 states. That would be a big game changer for us. And that is a photo of some of our MVPs here. There's Elisa Seeger in the middle, and this is our board member Jean Kelly and her son Brian. The online petition in support of Aiden's Law, which is the name of this legislation, now has over 95,000 signatures on change.org. And then this is a short video I'm going to show you. It's the PSA of our campaign to get ALD added to the recommended uniform screening panel.
Until the age of 6, Brian was your typical active boy.
I guess there's no sound, so it won't really help. Could you guys hear that at all?
Put your mic to
Oh, good idea.
So smart.
Can I ask, are you screening boys and girls, or just boys?
All children.
All.
Until the age of 6, Brian was your typical active boy. Aiden was a seemingly perfect child. He excelled in school, he played sports, and he loved to play chess. If Aiden had been tested for ALD when he was born, he would be alive today. Patrick was screened for ALD when he was born, and he tested positive. The minute I heard that Patrick was positive for ALD, then I knew to be worried for Gavin right away. We were shocked when Gavin, our older son, also tested positive for ALD, but we are so grateful to know this. ALD newborn screening has given us the power to save our boys through routine monitoring and early treatment. Every 36 hours, a baby is born with ALD. If you don't look for it, you won't know it till it's too late. Currently, there is a federal committee deciding whether all babies should be tested for ALD.
Let's tell them that all our boys should have a fighting chance right from the start. Support ALD newborn screening. Sign the petition at change.org. Save the boys.
Apologies for the sound there, guys. That was our hashtag for the campaign, Save the Boys. And that is the end. So thank you guys so much for letting me speak, and I will hand it over to Ken.